Hi, I'm Zach, and this is Zubair.
Welcome to Harmony.
Yes. So we are doing our second issue right now. Yeah, second episode right now. We started with the first word from the Risale-i collection by Said Nursi, and we just talked about one word in the previous episode. Now we're going to talk about one more word.
Yeah.
Which is, I'll read the sentence actually, and then we'll talk about the word.
Okay.
I think you'll be able to guess which word we're going to do.
Yeah.
I think you already know, actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's read it and then we'll see. So I'll start from the very beginning and I'll read the full sentence. So, brother, you wanted a few words of advice from me, so listen to a few truths included in 8 short stories, which, since you are a soldier, are in the form of comparisons of a military nature.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about military.
Okay.
I'll talk about what other word?
Advice.
Advice. Why? What's important about advice?
Yeah. Why advice?
Yes.
The reader or the whoever the person the
reader.
author is talking to wanted a piece some advices, right?
Yes. Wanted advice? Yes. That's what it said. You wanted a few words of advice.
But why advice?
Why advice? We have to remember that this is a translation.
Yep.
From Turkish, and you're the Turk. So what was the word used in the original, if you remember?
Nasihat.
Nasihat.
Which comes from the Arabic root nus. Nasiha.
Which means?
Well, it's kind of deep. So which means basically the cleanness, right?
Cleaning something away,
Yeah,
cleaning the
yeah.
dirtiness off?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pure.
Huh, okay.
So if you, from now on, let's use the Arabic original word, nasiha, instead of advice, right?
Or we can use advice knowing that we're talking about the meaning that we're going to give. That's not
Okay,
important.
advice in this context.
Yeah, advice in the context that we're using.
Okay, so if you want to give a true advice maybe, you need to wipe yourself out of that, right?
You need to make yourself a clean window.
Wow, is that the word?
Yeah, you're like a window.
Okay.
Or a mirror, doesn't matter, but you're going to be clean, so it's going to reflect the light perfectly.
Yeah.
That's one meaning. The other one was, I think, sewing.
Yeah.
Like you're sewing the shirt.
Two different things together.
Huh. Okay, sewing. I have a hole in my shirt.
Okay.
And I'm just going to sew it.
For example.
Okay, that's also from the same root.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's really interesting. The author chooses that word, that specific word, to not give. I won't use the word give because of the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot give an advice to someone else.
Mm-hmm. That's just
remember?
Exactly, yeah.
So the reader, the person who is going to be who is in the target of the author, wanted a piece of advice, and that's what the author says. You wanted a piece of advice from me.
Okay, and that's the first thing. You wanted.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, you wanted this advice.
Unless I want, it won't work.
Yes, unless you want, it's not even advice.
Hmm.
That's actually, from a methodological standpoint, if you don't want it, it's not advice in the meaning advice that we're giving. It can be advice under a different methodology, yes, like the father-son relation or the what did we say, the sheikh and his followers relation. Yeah, that can be advice. I'm going to impose my understanding on you. That's advice.
Okay.
And the general meaning, but the author isn't meaning that. So for it to be real advice, nasihat, it needs to be wanted.
Yeah.
First thing.
Demanded.
There needs to be demand for there to be a supply.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
The supply is already there. Demand is what's necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the first one.
That's the first one.
Next one.
The next one, in order to be a true advisor, you need to clean yourself clean your window or mirror, right? Otherwise, you are, as you said, you are imposing yourself. But if you clean your window, your mirror, your glass, whatever, now you are letting the light go through.
Yes.
And the receiver receives the truth itself, not your truth.
Yes, exactly. Otherwise, it's like, maybe we can give an example. A clean mirror and a mirror that has red on it.
Yeah.
Okay, not dirtiness per se, but a different color put on top of it.
Mhm.
So if light is reflected from a red mirror, what we're going to see reflected is red light.
Yep.
The light itself is more than red, but we're only seeing red from it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So it's the dirtiness in that sense.
Yes.
That it's a very, very, very small portion of what's actually being projected.
Yes.
So for it to be nasihat, we need it to be clear, and it's going to give us a bigger picture, a more comprehensive picture of revelation.
How?
It's not my color that I'm adding onto it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, that's the first part of nasihat. Second part is going to be related with the sewing. Why? Because although it's a pure mirror, a mirror is still limited in its size.
Okay.
So it cannot collect all of revelation, all of it, and reflect it on there. It would be like taking one mirror, having light shining from one mirror and onto there.
Yeah.
You'll get a certain amount of light on this table.
Yep.
But if you're also a mirror and you're reflecting light, and they come together,
Oh.
the intensity increases.
Yes.
So you'll get more of that revelation. It will become even more comprehensive.
Yep.
This is why we're saying we are in need of everybody. This is going in line with the word brother. So we have a clean mirror, multiple clean mirrors. We are in need of these, and we are sewing them together.
Wow.
That's nasihat, or advice, in the way that we are meaning it, within the methodology that we are using it.
Yeah. So remembering that the author, Said Nursi, kind of states the methodology to read the Risale-i Nur, Quran, and the whole universe, we need to keep that in mind, right? We need to be brothers first, and we need to look at the same source of light and try to reflect it as clean as possible we can.
We're not trying to do anything.
What?
We're just moving ourselves out of the way. Once we
Wow.
try, we add a color. That's the secret of sincerity, or ikhlas, which goes into something else.
Say that again, slowly.
We are not trying actively to do anything. We're not imposing ourselves anything. We're trying to understand.
We're trying to let it in.
Let it in, and then it reflects automatically. That's what sincere...
One second. I'm a glass. I'm a window, for example. In order to reflect, or
You're a mirror. You're a mirror. Let's use the mirror. And
okay,
make
I'm
it
a mirror, and I want to reflect the light. What should I do? Just be there and be clean.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All you're trying to do is keep yourself clean.
Yeah.
You're not trying to add anything else. You're trying to move. You're trying to clean yourself and move yourself out of the way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put your hand in front of a mirror, you block the light.
Yep.
You'll make a shape on the table, and you might give some meaning through that, but in the end, you are distorting the meaning and reducing it.
Yes, you're right.
So, important thing with this is, we can read this text from any methodology, but because of that methodology and our background, we'll take these same words and misunderstand them meaning that we didn't understand them the way that the author intended them to be meant.
Oh.
So we can all read the same text. This is going back to the same thing. We can all read the same text from a different perspective, but the methodology is important so that we can understand what the author is trying to say here, not what we are saying that the author is saying.
But how could we get ourselves out of the way?
By realizing, one, the key, that we are receiving from a infinite source, and no matter what, we are limited, so we are impotent and poor. We have only so much that we can do, and it's not enough to really understand anything. We need other people. We need the brothers. Without the brothers, it won't work.
Wow. That's why the author states in the first word as, "Oh, brother."
And he doesn't state it just for fun.
Yeah.
He means it. If you know the author's life, we don't need to go into it into great detail, but although he was the most intelligent of probably everybody around him, he benefited from everybody around him.
Yeah.
He knew that he needed them to understand what he was doing.
Wow. Impressive.
Otherwise, if he were to write it just for fun, he was not following his own methodology. He felt it first, knew this was true, and then he wrote it.
Yeah.
So that's from that. So why am I saying that? We need to follow the same methodology.
So we're brothers.
Yeah. We're brothers with the author too. This is important.
Yeah.
We are brothers with the author. We don't need to put him on a high pedestal.
Yep.
Because he didn't do that to himself. And he knew that if he did that, and if his people around him did that, he wouldn't understand, and they wouldn't understand.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, I think that's all for this episode of Harmony.
Yeah.
If anything else you want to say it now, or forever hold your peace until the next episode.
Okay. See you next episode.
Okay. See you.